I think there are many, many lovely examples of the way in which God uses people on their front lines. And often it's very easy for us to minimise a certain situation as having absolutely no potential for the gospel to come through and to be evident. In the last church I was in, I knew a lovely lady. She was a very, very special lady called Mary. And Mary's son had died in his early 30s from a neurological condition. And as Mary got older herself, she became bedridden by exactly the same illness. And she was unable to get out of bed, she was unable to speak, her speech was very slurred, her bodily movements were very, very limited. And yet she was just absolutely amazing. And Mary and I shared the same hairdresser. She was a mobile hairdresser who used to come into our home. And this hairdresser used to tell me how she couldn't get over how that Mary, in these most debilitating circumstances, was able to be so positive, how she had such a trust and a faith in God, even though she was often uncomfortable. She didn't ever moan and complain. She was always grateful and thankful for the way that the hairdresser washed and styled her hair. How amazing was that? That was Mary's front line. That was her mission field. She didn't ever get out of her bed at that stage to go to church, but she was just such a great example of what it was to be a Christian in difficult circumstances and situations. And that was always such a great encouragement to me. It's all about sometimes, I think as well, seeing the bigger picture and seeing what we're working for and working towards. There's a lovely story from the life of Sir Christopher Wren, who was the architect in the building of St Paul's Cathedral. And the architect didn't often have contact with some of the builders personally, but one day Sir Christopher Wren went down to the building site and he met three of the builders. They didn't know who he was, and he asked them a question. And he said, "What are you doing?" And the first person said, "I'm cutting stone." And the second man said, "Oh, I'm earning 3 shillings and sixpence." And then the third person actually said, "I'm building a great cathedral." One was actually doing a task, the other was earning a living, but the third person considered himself to be working with the great architect, the great designer of this building, to do something much greater, to build something that was far bigger than himself. It's about all of us seeing that we're part of God's work wherever we are, and doing that faithfully, committing to it for the long haul, and being great disciples of his as we do that.